Let's talk about it. Real truth and power, health, wealth, knowledge of self, uplifting the community. Let's talk about it. Real truth and power, health, wealth.
You are now tuned in to Real Truth and Power, the show that uplifts the community with health, wealth, and knowledge of self. Here's your host, Everett Winchester.
Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings. Thank you for you guys' patience. I was trying to go live on Instagram as well. So we're going to see if that works real quick. Let's see how that turns out. Hopefully it works. But in the meantime, Race First family, it's been a minute. Just coming back from a powerful, powerful conference. And the HEC, the High Executive Council Committee meeting in Philadelphia. It's a UNIA thing, man, and it was just powerful and learned a lot of things. And I got even more empowered, more pumped up to do the work of our people. Of course, across past couple of weeks, I've been really feeling it because I'm really upset that a lot of our organizations aren't supporting the elders in Baltimore City. We have Baba Charlie Duggar, who has a lot of events. Now, I know you may not know, but a lot of people do know. Sometimes they come out, pass out flyers, and just roll out. You have the Black Men Unifying Black Men Breakfast with Brother Bill Gooden and Brother Mike Johnson, the Pikes Theater owned by Mike Johnson, a lot of things in Baltimore alone, and a lot of the other organizations don't support. You know, as UNIA, we try to support and we try to work with everybody, but if you're on code. So I just got a little frustrated. You know, I was thinking we've been talking about unity for the past 2 weeks. And so tonight, wanted to turn it around and make sure we get everything straight. Why don't Black organizations come together? By the way, if you're in the chats, please drop where you're from. I know we're streaming live on Facebook and Instagram, hopefully we'll be on Rock Media soon. I'm waiting for that Zoom to come up so we can go on air. But definitely go to Real Truth and Power on YouTube. We're trying to push that platform as well. So let's stay here for a minute. Why don't Black organizations work together? Is it ego? Is ego the main reason? Because that's what I've been seeing in all the comments this week. But let's go deeper. Is it really ego, or is it a lack of structure and discipline? What does unity actually require? Discipline, compromise, leadership? So I want to get into a lot of that today. And of course, we want to open up the chat so everybody can be a part of the conversation. Race first to the Lady President, Sister Mama Earth. Race first. We want to open that up because we're always talking about unity. We're always talking about how we need to work together. Race first, Sister Basima. Race first. one of the strongest sisters in our UNIA, Race First. Hopefully you can join the link when I put it up. But we've always been talking about unity. And one of the things that I just felt coming back from the UNIA conferences is how, we have heated discussions about how it's organized, how we have that structure and discipline to come out of those things on one page, on one alignment. And I think it is because there's structure, because we have leaders and there's a chain of command and people come in humble and people work together. And I saw that in Philly, and I'm like, we got to get our community in Baltimore, and I'm sure a lot of other Black communities together. So do me a favor while you guys are on here, as we're about to get started in a real heavy discussion. I want everybody to be a part of this. So I'm going to share the link in a minute, but I need you to do me a favor.
Smash it now!
Hit that like button. Please hit that like button because that gets the algorithms out. We want everybody to be a part of this discussion. If you're on YouTube, go to YouTube, Real Truth and Power, and do me this favor. Hit that subscribe button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow the floor to open up. Race First, Dr. Daw, Peace and Race First, checking in is quick, and I'm about to go to a gala. We appreciate what you do. I appreciate you, Dr. Daw. So what I'm going to do is I am going to put in the chat how to log into the show. And then you guys can comment if you don't get it or what have you, because I want everybody to be a part of the discussion. One of the things that was brought to me was, why don't the Baltimore division work with everybody? And that's a good question. And I'll talk about that as well. We can't work with everybody. We have to be on code with a lot of the things we do. We have to be on code. And so we want to make sure that everybody knows that. Like, if you've stolen, if you have bad credentials, we're not going to do that type of thing because we're all about, one thing, and that's unification of our people. We're not about, dealing with everybody. You can't, like Marcus Garvey said, everybody can't go to Africa. We can't take everybody with us. So hopefully you can see that. I put it in the chat. And hopefully it's going over to Facebook, the link to Zoom in. I'm going to take a quick commercial break, family, so we can make sure I put all the links in and hopefully somebody could jump on. I don't want to be the only one talking tonight. I want to build because this is very important. We always talk about unity. We always talk about we need to work together. But what's the problem? Why aren't other organizations supporting the elders? Where's the respect factor there? So I'll be right back after this, and I will try to put in the chat. If you guys can put in the chat, if you don't have the link, let me know. And we ready for you. Hold on one second.
I used to think vacations meant white sand and pool drinks, until I realized I was skipping my story. I've got 10 days to reconnect with my roots, or spend another year feeling like a tourist in my own identity. So I booked with Black Star Travel. They don't do tours, they build homecomings. Real connection, real culture, no filters. I thought I'd be the outsider, but the moment I stepped off that plane, I felt seen. They weren't just places, they were pieces of me I never knew I lost. Travel with purpose, travel with pride, travel with Black Star.
Your boy dead on the street last week. Not from drugs, from violence. Nobody stand up, nobody move. Me got 6 weeks we build 100 man. Or Baltimore lose its soul. Back in the day, we protect we own. Now, enough talk, enough post. But Garvey, him leave with the blueprint. Stand up, uniform, discipline, unity. African Legion. It not dead. It a prophecy waiting for fulfill. Ma nearly walk away, tired, alone. But when that mother grab me arm and say, who I go protect my son? Me know. We not start no war. We restore order. Black unity, black honor, black discipline. This a we army, and it never left. Me name, Brother Tony. Join the Baltimore UNIA. Be the legacy or be the silence.
Used to think nature was a lie. Baltimore don't have forests, just corner stores and concrete. But then I heard UNIA hikes every Sunday. I thought, what if I just show up? I gotta reach that ridge before sundown, or miss the moment that's waking my whole spirit up. Bro, it's not just trees, it's legacy. Elders dropping Garvey wisdom while we climb, youth beating drums, sisters laughing under waterfalls. We see hawks, foxes, fire in the sky. City stress, gone. Every Sunday we reclaim the wild like it's our birthright. First time I touched river water, I cried. This ain't no hike, this is revival. Every step, we get louder. Every week, more of us come. This is Marcus Garvey's army in hiking boots. Black unity, in motion. Now I don't walk alone. I lead the line. Dwayne, UNIA. Follow for more and come hike with your people. Sundays, Baltimore. Marcus Garvey's UNIA.
All right, family, you know I always got to get that plug in for the UNIA. For those that don't know, I'm Brother Everett. And we are now on UNIA Rock Media as well. Hopefully everything's going right, Brother Prezi. Let me know by text if something looks crazy. But please check out UNIA Rock Media. UNIA Rock Media. So if you're not on YouTube, if you're not on Instagram, if you're not on Facebook or X or what have you, Twitter, definitely check this out. This is the powerful platform that the UNI is building. We're trying to do a YouTube for ourselves. We need our own platform. So please, uniarockmedia.com. So I think we're going there. I think we look good there. Let me check the comments, and then we can see who's logging in. Brother Keith Scott, that is the link. So I know you wanted to call in, good brother. Brother Keith Scott, I'm waiting on you. Brother Keith Scott, who ran for mayor, I'm waiting on you. But let me check a couple of the comments. Unity must have purpose. Unity must have purpose. I like that, Brother Keith Scott. I like that. All right. Lady President of Baltimore. Definitely ego. Definitely ego. I agree with you, Lady Prez. And of course, this is Sister Basim is saying, keep building, keep building. So, for those that's waiting on the link, somebody let me know if they don't have it, and I'll go in. I'm waiting on a good brother, my good brother, Brother Cliff. Brother Cliff does something where he gets a lot of the Pan-African groups together. He gets the Pan-African groups together, and he tries to work with them. But I saw some things that happened in his meeting that, was a little discouraging. As much and as strong as he tries to build, I knew that was going to be an issue. And I saw ego. I saw that people weren't aligned together. I saw that we were arguing about things that we didn't need to argue about. And that's something that we have to do. I believe that when organizations meet, you have to check your ego at the door. Marcus Garvey teaches us in diplomacy that, whenever you're meeting another person, to lay back, sit back, watch what's going on, vibe how people are vibing. Don't just come in and try to dominate the room all of a sudden. We have to learn how people are moving and things of that nature. And so it was one incident that definitely struck out as ego. Not to say names, but a brother actually walked out the room. And I noticed the brother going out the room, and I went back for the brother. And he was like, man, I was feeling real good. My spirits are done. I don't even want to go back in the room again. But I said, man, you want to go back in? Because if we all really wanted to leave, I said, come on, let's go back in. And we went back in to support the brother. And, the brother was able to go back in, say how he felt and why he was upset. And I felt that was a problem because you cannot, what's the word I want to say? When you're trying to come together with other organizations, you have to come in humbly. You have to come in humbly. Here, us in the UNIA, we believe we have the blueprint. The black print, sorry. We believe we have the black print. We don't veggie back off anybody. We believe what we feel is right. But it wouldn't be good diplomacy for me to come into a meeting as a UNIA member, put my foot down, tell everybody to shut up, and that I know what I'm talking about because we're not building. The next thing is that where are the organizations that we have the Marcus Garvey Festival? I'm glad to say a lot of people have been coming in supporting the Marcus Garvey Festival. I appreciate you guys for that. But there have been times where we haven't gotten the support from all the other events. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. In Baltimore, the Baltimore UNIA, when we do our events, we hope you come. We do events for the community, but we don't expect other organizations to support us. So we don't even take it personally. We move how we need to move because it's all about getting Garveyism and race first out to the public. But other organizations, they want you to support them and they want you to do certain things. Someone had called me out on one of the Facebook messages and said, man, there was a big event and you weren't there, but you talking about unity. No, I wasn't there. There was a event and people that were on the flyer had stolen from the UNIA. And in our lessons, it tells you prefer death to stealing from the UNIA. So I can't sit down with people that I know are thieves. I can't sit down with people that I know are not righteous. And those are some of the important things that we want to talk about today. So I see the lights coming in. I'm waiting on a couple more people to come into the room. And I'm going to check a couple more chats real quick. I can't get in. Send me the link. Yes, sir. Brother Unwalu, I'm going to send you the link right now. So hopefully you can join the conversation. And sorry, fam, we had a little bit of issues with Rock Media, but we are now on Rock Media. So we are good to go. I'm going to send you the link, Brother Unwalu, and hopefully you can add to the conversation. If you do not have the link, please put it in the chat, and I'll make sure you get that link personally. We're waiting on Brother Unwalu to jump in. Hotep, to our UNIA member. Pink Poet. My girl Janeki, race first, peace and blessings. Another comment. Because a lot of organizations, different missions, and think their mission is more important than others. We have to learn with each other's mission. Thank you, Baba Khalil. Race First Baba Khalil, our UNIA member, and I have to get you to Secretary General. Our Secretary General, they're looking for some members to add to our UNIA Elders Council. So I'll be getting with you. Yes, Bob, and that's why I was saying earlier, you can't just come into the room and try to dominate. You have to come into the room with a mission to listen, a mission to be heard, and things of that nature. People want to take credit instead of working together. That is the main thing. And I put that in as ego. Brother Torre, please, if you feel, we'd love to hear from you as well. Definitely click that link and come on in. And let me know, you guys, if you need the link. Brother Unwalu, I'm still waiting on you. Let me know. I just text you, so let me know if you didn't get that link. But yes, that I would consider that as part of ego. You coming in all about your organization. How can you work together? One of the things is you have to listen to what people are doing and see what you can do to bring it to the table. Also, Hotep, Baba Khalil, Hotep. Trying to get through all of these. And Brother Keith Scott, I am still waiting for you to jump in as well. So if you guys are having issues with the link, I see some people having issues with the link. All right, thank you, Brother Torre. Please jump in. I'm waiting on people to jump in now. So I keep rambling for a minute. I know I got the link out early. We was having some issues, but now it seems like we're streaming everywhere. And Mama Earth, I'm going to text you the link now as well. So thank you guys. And I can't wait because I want to hear from everybody else. I want to hear people that feel that, I could be wrong. It's not ego. You feel you have a certain type of situation that you want to address. As far as this, I know I was hurt. We had a phenomenal Billie Holiday festival. Phenomenal. And nobody was there except us as far as organizations. We always see the organizations like the Our Social Club. They support everybody. Shout out to the Our Social Club, brother Tashawn Bay. But a lot of other people don't support. And so we have to get the support of our elders. We have to get everybody on alignment, everybody on the same page. It can't just be the UNIA out there. If we're talking about we're going to be global. Yes, brother Keith Scott. Most organizations have their own agenda. You know what's an important thing? Organizations having their own agenda. That's very crucial because sometimes they come into the platform and they talk about their own agenda and it's supposed to be a collaboration. When I go into an organization, when I go into a meeting, my agenda is race first. My agenda is always to uplift our community with race first. So whenever I'm speaking, it's about collaboration. It's about race first. There's a time when I'll speak about what we're doing in the UNIA and push our UNIA agenda. But the collab has to be cooperative. It has to be, everybody working together. And so I'm about to bring in a couple of visitors in a minute. I'm just trying to wait and make sure everybody is on board. Hopefully everybody has the link. Brother Mawalimu, let me know if you don't have the link. I just texted to you. And you can get on from your cell phone if you would like. Lady Prez, I'm waiting on you to jump on. I just text you the link. And Brother Keith Scott, I just sent you the link. I'm going to put it in the chat one more time. And then we can really get the conversation going. So I'm waiting on you guys to join in now. And if anybody would like to join in, if you're on UNI Rock Media, I don't know if you'll get the text, but that is definitely the link to join in. Why? The topic is, why don't Black organizations work together? And my main thing is ego and people trying to dominate the room. You get in there and then, everybody's talking about how things should be done. Everybody's talking about how they should move. Everybody's talking about certain aspects of how they should move, but we're not getting anything done. And that becomes talk. One of the things that pumped me up in Philadelphia is, the President General Michael Duncan said, man, put things in action. We done talking. We got to put things in action. And that's the way we move in Baltimore. We try to do a lot of work. We try to make sure that we are the ones at the forefront. We work outworking everybody. We always want to be seen. We always want to be out there. Sometimes we get in these rooms and there's nothing but talk. We talked about this. We talked about that. We talked about this. We talked about that. And then the next time we have the meeting, we talk about the same thing we talked about before. And so we don't have any clarity. We don't have any assignment. It's just people talking. We have to realize that talk is cheap. We have to put things in action. And as long as we're talking and not saying, hey, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this, then it's a waste of time. So my challenge, especially in the Baltimore community, is there's an event coming up around Mother's Day by Elder Baba Charlie Duggar. And I will hope that everybody besides UNIA members come out, besides our social club, besides just the elders, come out and support. And that's one way that you build, by just saying we can come together for an event. That's one way you can build. Old beefs passed down to different generations. Old beefs passed down to different generations. Call in Brother Torre, because I'm confused on that one. I guess you're talking about organizationally wise, and that could be it. That definitely could be it. But when you come together to uplift our people, it can't just be about that. I would definitely say that it can't just be about the differences we had in the past. When you're saying you're going to work as a collective, you're going to work as a collective. You're not going to just sit back and worry about what happened in the past. We have to build. We can never forget what happened in the past, especially with organizations that's done you wrong. We never forget that Garvey must go movement. Definitely believe that. But we also understand the common cause is for us to work together. And so when that happens, you got to put things aside for the betterment of the people. Okay, brother Donald, I'm sending you that link too. I'm just trying to get a couple more people in. I just text you the link. So definitely I'd like to hear from Brother Donald. He also ran for Mayor of Baltimore City, I believe. So Keith Scott, he's one up on you. So don't punk out. Call on in, Brother Keith, and let me know. So I'm waiting on some people to jump in. I'm making sure I'm going to turn this off and turn it back on. Yes, interview mode is definitely on. And I'm waiting on some people to jump on now so we can build this discussion. And sorry, I put the link in a little late, but hopefully you guys have it. And if you're on UNIA Rock Media, it's on the screen. So definitely, I can't forget or just sit down with people that I know that have wronged my organization that I love so much in the UNIA. And, we always talk about being on code. How can I sit down with you at a table and try to build for my Black community when I know you stolen from the UNIA? That doesn't make sense. And if I tell you that someone has stolen from the UNIA, Marcus Garvey's organization, and you have them on your platform, I mean, that says a lot right there, but so you can't build with everybody. No, you can't build with everybody, but you have to keep trying the best we can. Send the link to your email. Put the email in the link, Brother Mualimu. I'll try to send it to you right now. I don't know if I got your email on file. Let me check. Yes, so we're waiting on a couple of people to log in, family. I'm just holding the fort till they get in. I see they're trying to log in because I don't want to be the only one. Brother Keith Scott says, working together for what is the aim? What is the purpose? There are many organizations that has its own purpose. It's only reason why they do things they do. Again, brother, I sent the link in. You're going to have to pop them, and I'm a little confused on that. Working together for what is the aim? What is the purpose? There are many organizations that has its own purpose. All right, Keith Scott, you can explain yourself. Hold on 1 second. Let me get this right. I see you in. And the brother can explain this himself. Let's bring in our good brother. And again, please hit that like and that share, family. And I'm going to bring in our good brother, Keith Scott. And then I see another brother coming in. All righty. So let me bring in the first guest. And I see you, Brother Donald. First, I greet you with race first, Brother Keith Scott. First, please introduce yourself to the people. I know you have ran for mayor of Baltimore at one time, correct? And I got another brother that's on that ran for mayor as well.
Wait 1 second. I don't know why it's so dark. Hold on. Wait 1 second.
That's all right. While you get yourself together, I'm going to put you back and bring on our next guest. Take your time, all right?
Problem.
All right, take your time. I'm going to bring you back in a minute. Hold on 1 second. All right, you there? I'm gonna leave you in. And I see you, Brother Donald. Hold tight. Everybody else, just hold tight. If you can't get in, I got two waiting. As soon as I get rid of one, I'll bring you in. And I see you, Brother Mualimu. All right, Brother Keith Scott, introduce yourself to the family and let them know a little bit about you.
Hello, my name is Keith Scott, and I ran for mayor of Baltimore twice. I didn't go there I didn't go there in the purpose of winning. I went to the purpose of education. I wanted to see in my own spirits, how do the political party works or the process works. So that's why I ran. Now back to the issue of why people or organizations working together, because most organizations have their own agenda, their own kind of their reason to do things, and sometimes it clashes against somebody else. But like you got a lot of activists, homeless activists, just doing their own thing. But the thing they had, the main thing they have in common is pretty much how to fund different organizations. Now, the fact that communities doesn't have the resources to support each other, they got to look for grants and other means to make money. But the city, Baltimore City, is a system designed to not work for Black people, but for other people. I did my own research. The reason why Black people don't vote is because there's nothing there for them. Latinos vote because they got a sanctuary city. White people vote because they getting the funding necessary for them to grow in Baltimore City. Black people never got anything for their vote. This is why Black people don't vote. A city that has over 330,000 people that only vote at a low 15%, while white and Latino vote at higher 80%. This is why the agendas that's getting up front is the Latino vote and the white vote. White people, Black people vote is obsolete because we know they're not going to do nothing for us. So,
well, let me ask you this, brother. Though, for example, and I've seen you at brother Bill and brother Mike's Black Men Unifying Black Men Breakfast. Why
yes.
isn't there a lot more people there on the regular? That room should be packed every time they have a breakfast. Black Men Unifying Black Men Breakfast. Free breakfast. They just ask for donations if you have it. They really don't even take no donations. So why is it that all the Black organizations aren't coming to that event?
Because it's not accomplish anything for other people. It's like, okay, a free lunch is pretty much not enough to bring a free breakfast is not enough to bring people to the forefront. There's other problems. You got job problems, you got BGE problems, you got so many different problems in the Black community. There's nothing they can say, I need this help and get that help from. Back when we did the breakfast and a guy came in saying that he need funding for his community center. But we couldn't say, okay, here's a check for you. We did this, the school is closing because the fact they need funded, but the community can't say, here's the check for you because we're not strong enough to do this. And this is why people don't participate in things, because unity requires some kind of profit, a purpose, something to fight for. This is why you don't get people in groves.
I understand. So what I'm going to do, hold on, because I want to keep you on for a minute, because I may want you to build with somebody. Hold on. I'm going to put you in the back real quick, and I'm going to bring on the next guest. Don't go nowhere. That was Brother Keith Scott. Brother Keith Scott is ran for Baltimore City Mayor. And good brother. He's always in there supporting. I'm going to bring on another brother that also ran, I believe, for mayor.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Brother Donald, how you doing?
You want me ready to talk?
I'm ready to talk. You live on the air, good brother. Introduce yourself to the people.
Okay, my name is Don Scoggins, and I ran for mayor in 2024. Just like Keith, I didn't really fool myself that I was going to win, but I'm going to be honest about it. I'm going to be very frank about it, and hope I don't talk too long. And that is,
hold on real quick, Brother Donald. Brother Torre, I don't see you. I got 3 in there. So, okay. If you hold tight, I'll get you in when I get rid of one of the guests. Hold tight real quick. Give me a couple minutes. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother Donald. Sorry about that.
Okay. No, I was say that I don't want to hog the show, but I'm going to tell you this. I ran for mayor for two reasons. One reason was to release a lot of stress that I had in terms of the plight of the Black community, because and it's no secret, I live in Virginia, but I established residency in Baltimore so I can qualify to run for mayor. And I've heard so much about how Baltimore was, and I thought with my background in housing, I could maybe have some benefits to the city. But when I got into Baltimore, I've been over there, so over the years, I've been in the DMV area since 1972. But I mean, in terms of seriously studying Baltimore, when I came over there to run for mayor, I'm going to tell you, I was extremely disappointed. And when I would come back from Virginia, when I would leave Baltimore and come back to Virginia and everything, literally, I'm honest to God, literally tears would be coming down my eyes because I was so distraught about the youth being ignored over there. It's the youth that's being ignored. And I just turned last year, I just turned 80 years old. So I've been around a long time, and I've seen a lot of these efforts of trying to improve the Black community, and they never get anywhere. And I'm going to tell you the reason why they don't get anywhere. And since we're on the call here, and do we have any lawyers in the group? Because I don't want to get sued,
You good, brother. Speak your mind. It's real truth and power. Be real with it.
The reason why is because you got white liberals who are paying Black folks to create a lot of dysfunction. What is it? Baltimore's about almost 500,000 people and everything. They got nonprofit organizations coming out of the gazoo, and all of them out there thinking they can get a piece of money from the city. When I was running for mayor, people came up to me, "Can you help me get a grant? Can you help me to get a grant?" I mean, that's not economic development.
Hold that thought real quick, because one thing I heard was no, you good. One thing I heard is that a lot of organizations, nonprofit organizations, don't want to work with other organizations because it's a battle for the money. It's a battle for the money. Are you seeing that? That that's one of the reasons.
I didn't mention battle. I said there are a lot of nonprofit they're out to gazoo. I didn't say they were battling, which you put. You actually.
Well, battling might not be a wrong word, but there's a lack of resources in the money, and why am I trying to work with you? And I need all of this and need to show that I can I'm doing, right?
You're absolutely correct. Actually, when you use the word battle, that really is probably the best word to use, because the little bit of money that each organization or those organizations want to get, they're really not enough to do anything. So they just keep scrambling for money. And I don't know I'm not going to disparage all the nonprofit groups, but many of them don't really do anything because they use the money for payroll of staff and everything. They don't have any. I mean, when you have a nonprofit organization, and if I was mayor of the city, what I would do is I would make these organizations raise a certain percentage of the money has to come from private donations. And if they can't show that they can raise X amount of money in private donations, they would not get any money, because the money that comes from the city should be programmatic funds for programs. And they could raise money privately for staff if they want to get 100,000, pay themselves $100,000 a year. Fine, but you get that money from private sources. You don't use money that you get from the city to pay yourself, and then you don't have hardly anything, if anything, and then you got to pay rent and all this other stuff. So that's one thing. And I mentioned about the white liberals because I'm not going to mention any names, but I talked to one person who doesn't live in the city, but he has a lot of business interests in the city, and I happen to be a Republican, so I approached that person because I know they donate money to Republicans, and that person basically wanted me to be a sycophant. They wanted me to be a suck up. In other words, I had to kind of dance and everything, do the, rope the dope. And, in other words, I had to be as corrupt as everybody else. And I'm not going to be that way.
I
And
got you.
one
Go
thing I
ahead.
want to say before I get off, Everett, I really appreciate what you're trying to do, and my goal right now is to work with financial literacy. I think that is one of the biggest issues in our community. We do not know how to raise money, and we do not know how to wealth creation is the thing that should be the next step of the civil rights movement. I call it silver rights. We need to figure out how to get money and how to use that money to parlay into activities where we can be independent and we don't have to be going to the same place where all these other organizations are going to for the money. Because when they get the money from the city, it's nothing but a de facto campaign. They're looking for these politicians are looking for those folks to help them get reelected. That's all it's about. So anyway, that's that. I get kind of passionate when I talk. So
no, you good. Before you go, and I wanted to I got a lady Prez on as well. So I wanted to ask both of you politicians. I know you said you're a Republican.
No, revolution here, revolutionary.
All right, okay.
Here.
You ran. If you ran for public service, I would say you have to be in some sort of politician. But I respect your title, brother Keith Scott. I got a question for both of you. Are the parties separating our people? Like,
definitely.
Are the parties separating our people? Do you feel confident calling yourself a Democrat or Republican? Shouldn't we be going somewhere? Because if we're talking about bringing our people and Black organizations together, a lot of organizations are supporting or getting support from both one or two parties. So what do you guys feel about that? Shouldn't we as a people maybe start getting away from that? I'll start with you, Brother Donald, and then I'll go to Keith Scott.
Okay. Let me tell you this: if all things being equal, and if I had my choice, I would run as an independent. But running as a non-party, running without a party banner, is darn near impossible. When I filed to run as a Republican, all I need to do is have established residency for 1 year prior to the election and pay $150. That's all I had to pay. As a Republican, or if I was going to run as a Democrat, that's what I'll have to do. When you run as an independent or a non-recognized party, so to speak, they want you to get so many signatures, verified signatures of previous voters. That means I had to run all over the city to try to get running at large. I think I would have to get like 40-some thousand signatures, and that's darn near impossible. That's one reason why when people run as a Democrat, you see about 10 or 15 or 20 people running, because it don't take much to get on the ballot, and that is a lot of that is by design. And with all due respect, much of the problems in Baltimore originate with the General Assembly. The General Assembly basically has created an atmosphere in Baltimore whereby it's going to permanently be a Democrat city. And if you can get everybody in Baltimore to vote Democrat, they always going to be win statewide offices and everything. And the same thing about some other parts of the state. But I think Baltimore is probably the biggest example. You have that a little bit in Prince George's County and some parts of Montgomery County, but the politicians in Maryland use Baltimore as what they call it, their political insurance. They make sure they get the people in Baltimore to vote for them, and then they got it made. They don't have to. And for all due respect, the Republican Party in Maryland is basically non-existent, because the people know it's a hopeless case. And as a result, within our community, we don't have democracy in the Black community. I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma, doing closing days of Jim Crow. My dad was an electrical contractor. Back in the day, you had a lot of the Black men were business people. They weren't Bill Gates type, but they had businesses, painters, bricklayers, they did all that type of stuff. All these broken up houses you see in Baltimore. If it was the way I would like for it to be, you wouldn't have all that, because I would have the trades in the schools. So these young people can do something. And a lot of these young people that are creating havoc out in the street and everything, they're not dumb or they're not bad kids. It's just that they've been ignored. Nobody's doing anything for them. That's all. And the union, the teachers union, they're corrupt too. And I had an issue with the police department, and I had to go and go down there and talk to them about something, and found out that they're basically corrupt. All these people are just leeching off the city of Baltimore, waiting for retirement, and they can retire and going on back out to Pennsylvania or Western Maryland, wherever they live, with a big fat retirement and everything. They don't care anything about the city. And a lot of the black folks, either they are oblivious to it, or with all due respect to my fellow black people, I'm going to tell you, many people are just whipped, if you know what I mean. Whipped, they just sort of, when I say whipped, I don't mean, you're just sort of fatigued, mentally fatigued to even do anything. I'm fortunate enough to have been able to not have to live in the city. If I lived in the city of Baltimore, especially with my wife and everything, I wouldn't be married, she wouldn't tolerate what's going on over there. And a lot of people who live outside of Baltimore would like to live in Baltimore, but they're not going to raise kids in Baltimore. And some of I don't want to talk about a lot of people and everything, but some of these, black leaders, so to speak, they kowtow to some of the white folks. They're on boards and commissions and this and that and that type of thing, and they're recognizing. You got about 1 million ministers in Baltimore. A lot of them don't even live there, and you try to talk to them about some of their broken up property to do something. They don't want to cooperate because they got visions of building some big monstrosity, a monument to them. So that you go up and so it's just too much. It's too much dysfunction in Baltimore to do anything. Now, I had vision being in housing. You come off of BW Parkway and you make that left turn. I think it's going up one of those streets where they go north and everything. You got all those almost rows and rows and rows of boarded up houses. Some of these, I came back from Vietnam in 1972, and of course I
was born in 72.
Yeah, but I remember visiting Baltimore in the 70s, and some of those same houses are vacant. And one lady, when I was running for mayor, one lady came to me and said that she was trying to save her house because it was on the auction block because of non-payment of taxes and everything. And she couldn't find out who to go to and who to this and who to that. And she called the auctioneers, and they couldn't tell her anything. And the auctions are corrupt. Some of these houses get foreclosed on, and they get auctioned by the city over and over again. So
I want to thank you, Brother Donald, because I know I appreciate your passion, my brother. And I want to say this. Did you see the UNIA Faka Rock documentary about a black-owned grocery store?
No, I need to see.
Right. We're going to premiere it again in August, along with another documentary. You talking about investing. You're talking about economics. I'm going to bring the leaders from the UNIA in August, and you get to meet them, you get to build with them, and you can see what the UNIA is about, leadership, and you can also talk to them as well. All right, my brother?
I got to say one thing, and I just need to say this thing. When I was running for mayor, they had some forums about housing and everything. And I tried to be invited, and they wouldn't let me. I've been I got a bachelor's in architecture, master's in urban and regional planning. I worked in housing for about 20 or 30 or 50, 40 years. And I tried to get to one of their groups they were having, and these white liberals wouldn't let me address the group. It's the white liberals that are heading up a lot of these nonprofit neighborhood profit organizations that are the holdup. They wouldn't let me talk to the group because I'm going to be honest and tell them what the story is. And when they said that you had to show that you had so many. If you were a viable candidate, you need to be at 40-some% or whatever they were using to decide on who they were going to get. and I found out they didn't even. So they wound up postponing it and having it another time. But they're corrupt too.
You right, my brother. But I'm gonna definitely build with you. I'm gonna get brother Keith. I got some more people coming on. I see a lady president, and I know brother Unwalu was trying to get on, and brother Torre. But I thank you, my brother. I thank you for your
Yeah.
passion. And remember, August, lock that in. You're gonna have to stay in Baltimore. We got a convention, and it's gonna be some people talking that talk.
I will come, but some of these things you can't just say it just in a few words, you have to,
You got to get it off your chest. You need a hug, brother. You got a lot on your chest. You need a hug. I'm praying for you. You need a hug.
And I do it to keep from going crazy, to tell you the truth. Even though I'm trying, at my age, I'm trying to figure out how to disengage and just be just forget about everything, but I can't forget.
I understand. But thank you again. And I'll let you know the next show. I really appreciate you for coming in and getting it off your chest. I appreciate you.
Okay, so you want me to sign off or just stay
I got you covered. I'll sign you off. All
Thank
right.
you.
Peace and blessings. That was Donald Scoggins, ran for mayor. Brother's very passionate. Before you close out, brother Keith, and I know you gotta get a little bit off your chest. Mama Basima, Sister Basima, the primary challenge we face is not ego, but rather the ignorance of the conditions that necessitate cooperation and collective action for our survival. Keep building. Race first. Race first, Sister Basima. Thank you so much for that. And before I get our lady president on, go ahead and just close out, brother. Keep it. I know you wanted to. I wanted you to say this because we talk to answer this for me. We talk about the issues with organizations not coming together. I believe one of the main issues is that it's Democrat and Republican. And I wanted you to respond on that.
Well, we know. Okay, see, the Democrats and the Republicans is pretty much the same. Both of them out to destroy Black people. We know this. We was more powerful when we were segregated. So we know that. I mean, we are under the impression that Baltimore City is a Democratic city, but it's not. The only people who vote Democrats is white people and Hispanic. Black people don't vote at all. My 13% out of 375,000 people in Baltimore, only 13,000 people, Black people, actually vote because still it's not a Democratic Party. So what I'm running. I'm trying to get on the.
Hold up, you running again?
No, I'm not running.
Oh, okay.
I'm working with the Newsom Party. I'm gathering 10,000 signatures.
Okay.
To get on the ballot. Once I get my 10,000, I'm going to run 17 individuals with the agenda of Black political financial unity and take out the Democratic Party out of Baltimore City in a whole. I'm going to run a person for mayor, city council president, the whole city council. That means that whole system is erased. And once that system erased, we can give Black people that reparations they need to create their generational wealth. It's the system that they're trying to protect. The logical thing is to cater to the majority. Black people are the majority, but they don't give Black people anything to participate in the vote. This is why we stay home.
Well, I see you mentioning the vote a lot, but what about just organizations in general that aren't politically affected organizations? They still don't work together. What's your message to them before I close you out?
Well, see,
because you never answered this one question. Why aren't people coming to the breakfast? Where they at?
Because people are looking for help, and they can't get help there. They can get information, but they can't get help there.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? They can't go there and say, "Oh, my BGE is too high. Can I help you?" Right. My neighborhood is got drug dealers on it. You can help me.
But stop right there. Organizations can come though. Organizations for the people can come.
Organizations most have their own agendas. Okay, I've been, like I said, I've been through the city. I probably had been with every organization there is in the city. Everybody has their own fight, and their whole fight is to help Black people. But their problem is they don't get the funding necessary to do it. I've been talking to a whole lot of core Black leaders, and these older people are getting tired of the fight. They're getting worn out because the fight the system is an impossible. Is an impossible fight individually. It's not Republican. It's the system that the Republicans and the Democrats trying to protect. This is why Black people gets nothing. I'm like, you ever voted before?
Yeah, I vote.
Okay, did you? Okay, the person that you voted for, did he accomplish what he was supposed to do for you?
I don't think anybody I've ever voted for has
There you
accomplished.
go. That's why they don't vote. Okay, now the fact that to me, you got all these buildings in Baltimore City. That should be given to the Black community so they can develop it and create that generational wealth. It's just sitting there. So, but they don't want to give it to us. We're gonna have to take the power we need to survive in this city.
But
Them giving us stuff is not gonna work.
all right, brother Keith, I'm gonna bring in our lady president. I want to thank you. Let me ask you: did you see our documentary on the grocery store, brother?
Actually, I didn't see that either. I'll be looking for that one.
You be in August because we talk. The main thing you've been mentioning a little bit as well is economics, like brother Donald. So that's really important that you see what we doing in there. And then we need you to get your membership so you can vote on some Black people in the Black government. But I'll talk to you about that later, brother.
All right, I'm looking for people to run though. I'm
All
looking for
right, I
people who
feel
want.
you.
Looking for
All right,
people who want to run. You
I,
hit the seat.
all right. I'll talk to you soon, good brother.
All right.
All right. All right, now I'm gonna bring in the lady president of Baltimore, Mama Earth. Race first. How you doing?
Peace and blessings. Race first to everyone. To come on and welcome back from PA, from Philadelphia. Thank you for representing us well. I enjoyed every second of what I saw on social media. I'm so sorry that I wasn't able to attend. My life moving
Yeah,
was
you was
a
moving
bit much for me.
and a birthday, so you was getting it in birthday and moving.
Oh,
But we
it was a
understand.
juggle. It was a juggle, but I give praise and thanks to the Most High that I was able to overcome. And things is everywhere in here, but at least I'm here.
Yes,
Okay.
and everybody's waiting to meet you in August. I see Sister Basima was on, so that's great. And
I can't
I know
wait.
this is a passionate thing for you. Um, and because you always that's one of your main things every time you speak is about,
Mm,
organizations working
yeah,
together. And we try to work with everybody. But before I go into depth, I want to ask you a couple of questions. Why
sure.
aren't a lot of these organizations besides us supporting the elders in Baltimore? Now I know that they got to get their information out better, and we've been helping them with that with the social media flyers and things of that nature. But still, a lot of these organizations know, and instead of just coming out and just passing out stuff for their event and rolling out, why aren't they supporting? Because these elders have been doing these events for years, and you're a part of that committee.
Yes, people's mentality has changed so much, and that COVID did a strong pull on organizations coming together. And so we have separated as a people, and because there's a major wound that the organizations and us as a people has came through. You're not able to see your parents, or you're being separated from your job because you have to take a vaccine or whatever. It's separated a lot. So the elders are trying to bring it back, just bring it back. And then people's mindset is still the same as doing their own thing. And that's why we had developed a committee for Mr. Duggar, because Mr. Duggar is getting older. He's not getting younger, and he needs that support. So I believe having that younger involvement and being able to go the distance that Mr. Duggar can't go, we can bring the people in. And that's what I'm trying to, do promote it as much as possible on all platforms, and letting exactly what the Marcus Garvey Committee is doing to help Mr. Duggar in trying to have these events. Some of these events he's had for 35, 50 years. The Marcus Garvey Day, it's the 56th year this
Mm-hmm.
coming August.
56.
56. And that's a long time to have put together such a big event by himself at one point.
How
And
many
so when
years was the, because I didn't even know about the Billie Holiday Festival. And I know I asked you and Brother Dwayne, I was like, they've been doing this? And
I'm
you was like, yeah,
frozen.
y'all were there last year. I was like, oh, that's good. I didn't even know we were
Froze.
there. Shoot, we do so much. But how many
Am I
years has that
frozen? I
been?
think I'm froze. The
You good?
screen
I
is
see you.
frozen.
How many years
Oh
has the
no.
Billie Holiday thing gone?
Oh, the Billie Holiday. I'm not certain. I know it's been going on for a while, and he was doing it alone. And so it's a pleasure to be able to come and participate in it. One Billie Holiday, I've always, from a little girl, marveled about her. Even before I knew the depth of the meanings of some of her songs, I just marveled at her beauty. And so when he started involving me in participating with the Billie Holiday, just get honoring her. And that was the first time I walked around that statue and I saw fruit. That hit me so hard. It to see someone hanging, and then you're reading about why she created that song. It blew my mind. All the years that I've been out there, I guess I was just do the hustle and bustle of trying to get things together, that I walk around it and read each part of that statue.
Real quick, hold on, Lady Prez. Baba Khalil said, I believe the larger community of black organizations don't know about the breakfast. We have to do a better marketing area to make more organizations aware. I agree there. I agree there. With it totally. I also
The-
think sometimes because we're in a Pan African type of community that we don't reach out to other organizations. Like just because you Pan African, is football, youth football organizations and basketball and
Mhm.
dance, and all of these organizations have leaders that we could bring in, and they may not agree all the way with your philosophy, but as long as we can come to accord on one or two things, I think that's important. Um,
Mhm.
what do you think is the main thing with organizations building? I was talking to Brother Cliff. I was talking to Brother Cliff a lot. For those who
Mhm.
don't know Brother Cliff, he tries to organize a bunch of Pan African organizations, and you know, we get on a lot like Brother Cliff. We're gonna support you, but man, it's just talk. It's just talk. But he's so compassionate about trying to put the talk into action. Why do you think that there's a struggle with people in the room? I'm gonna tell you personally before you speak, though. I think sometimes people try to dominate the room, and I just be
Mhm.
listening like, okay, like this. I'm just gonna listen because I think sometimes people just gotta come and we gotta build. But what do you think? Because you've been in those spaces.
I believe, from my experience, ego takes a major part, and it has separated us as a people. Now you're hearing this FBA and all this stuff that's going on, and it puts me into the thought of the Rwanda, the Tutsis and the Hutus, how that was put there to separate, and not just separate, but they murdered their own their own color, their own, someone that was born right there just because they were part of a tribe. And that's what how these assassinations to organizations happen. One say this, and then you hear someone say that, and without having a conversation to find out the detail of how the conversation was even created or how that thought was even created, we separate.
Right.
And we don't come together, and this group is over here and that group is over there. When I see a time coming that it's going to bring us more together than separate us, because what you want to do if your child is hungry and this group over here has nutrients to feed you and your family, are you not going to take it? We have to come together, and unity is I speak about it all the time because that's what I hear in my soul. I hear in my spirit that unity, the more we unify, the less are we going to die out as a people. We must come into unity. We must come together as a people. You believe one thing, I believe another thing. Let's come together and put together what you know. Maybe I'll find out something, some information that I didn't know. We have to unify and we have to kill ego. And most time your leaders that are egotistical is because they're covering low self-esteem. And so they boost themselves up becoming egotistical. And then they separate themselves into their own little sections so that their ego can be more inflated.
Go ahead, Lady Press. Go on, Lady Press. You know, it's funny you said that because, and I think Baba Khalil is saying the festival's been going on since they built the monument, the Billie Holiday
Wow.
Monument. And that's going to be another sightseeing thing we're going to take people to the convention to see as well. You said something there that was very powerful, insecure in themselves and things of that nature. Usually when I speak, I mean, I'm president of Baltimore division. I'm even minister of information for the UNIA, but basically, this is Marcus Garvey's organization. I'm not the president general. I'm not running things. I'm just helping do the work. You know, so when I speak, I always speak upon Marcus Garvey. We're doing the work of Marcus Garvey. We're keeping his legacy alive and his name alive. When other people speak, though, they're speaking because it's their organization. It's it's their baby, and I think that that's a problem. That's a difference. When I had to take a step back, and realize, I said, I think maybe that's it too. You know, I'm like, you know, but when I go, the UNIA is still going to be here. You know, it's going to be here forever. My job is to help it here forever. When other individuals go, and the nonprofits or the Pan-African organizations, whatever organization, when they go, their organization stops with them because it's their organization. And I think that part that may be a problem because, you know, if someone named some like from the NAACP, they may be a little arrogant from a leadership standpoint, but as far as working with somebody, it's not going to be as much of a problem because it's not their baby, if that makes sense. And so I speak on that a little bit. Am I making sense to you?
That makes sense. That makes sense. It's like having the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts. You have your own little ball or your own little bubble. Well, I mean, this day and time, bubbles are going to be bust because I know that other people see what's going on out here in this world. There's higher powers than the government or the politics that you're going through. They are setting the stage for perpetual war. So are we going to continue to go off into our own little sector, to go off in our own little group
Hold that
instead of
thought real quick, Lady Press. I'm sorry. Brother Mwali Mu, I've emailed you the link. But if you're in Facebook, I think did you see the link in Facebook, Lady Press?
No, I got it. You sent it to me on my
Yes,
text
but
message.
I emailed you the link, Brother Mwali Mu, and I'm also going to text it to you. And you can use your phone or whatever. I think I texted to you. Check your text. But I emailed you as well. And whenever you log on, I got you. Whenever you get on, I got you. I'm sorry, Lady Press. Go ahead.
You're fine. So I mean, it's a lot happening in the world, whereas though unifying is a must. And now we have to figure out how to unify. No, we cannot unify with everyone. It has to be a weeding, of who we will bring in to come together, because you got some people doing other things, or behaving another way outside of their organization. So we don't want to, incorporate their mindset inside of them. We're just working with like-minded people and coming together with them. And the only way to do it is to communicate. We have to learn how to communicate with each other
B-
without.
Baba Khalil, I'm sorry to cut you off. Baba Khalil said, "Don't forget Mr. Duggan taking Kwanzaa to all the libraries since 1967. I wasn't even born."
Wow.
And that's what I'm
Wow.
saying, LP. I see you in the guest room, brother Torrey. Hold tight. That's what I'm saying. This we gotta support them. So when I went on Facebook, it
We
wasn't
have to support him.
yeah, I wasn't trying to be of a disrespect, but it was more of a call to action. Like, this is one thing we can do as a community, support our elders. The elders in the community love us. Our social club, whenever they call, or anybody, grandmother Edna, Mama Kalolo, anybody, we gonna be there. So they just gotta ask, and I think that's the main thing um, I really wanted to stress. But I'm gonna bring on another guest. Close us out real quick, LP, and just first of all talk about the Black Cross nurses and all the work you're doing in Baltimore City as our lady president.
Listen, I've been blessed to get this home, where as though the Black Cross nurses can come. I can start working with them to learn how to do other things other than feeding the community, but also nurturing the soul. So I have that space now that I can create that, for them to teach them, be a leader to them, so that we can go out into the community and do more work, other than it's more work out there than to feed the community and to clothe the community. You have people out here who are battling with substance abuse, and it extends from inner wounds that they have been carrying. And so I will be introducing that to the Black Cross nurses too, healing the inner you and body, mind, and soul. We're going to keep that going, and we're going to go into some senior centers. We're going to go into some schools. So I'm now that I'm in my house, now we can start things into motion, and getting more into the public and getting more into the community to do more work. I love you all. Peace and love. Thank you, Prez.
Race first. Oh, we got a meeting tomorrow, so I'll be talking to you tomorrow.
All right, talk to you
Don't
tomorrow.
stop. All right, race first.
Race first.
All right. All right, I'm gonna bring in my next guest. Peace and blessings, good brother. I finally get to see you. First of all, I'll greet you with race first, and introduce yourself to the people. And hold up real quick, brother. I'm stuttering, brother Mawali Mool. I sent you the link. So you gotta just click the link, and it'll let you log in. You could use your phone. Just click the link, and you can log in. But go ahead, good brother. I know you've been commenting. I've been trying to get this off, but I couldn't do the show Friday, so I had to wait a week. But it's just a little important to me, because sometimes I feel like, the UNIA is like on the front line, at least in Baltimore, with our elders and things. But it just seems like nobody else is supporting them. We got to come together as a community of some sort.
Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear, good brother.
Okay, one thing I wanted to say is that I really respect the UNIA and everything. I live out here in the Atlanta area, and I've worked with the president out here on several times.
Brother John, President John.
Yep, doing Africa Liberation Day. I came to several of the Garvey Day events, and so I always try to show support, even if it's just my presence or just monetary, buying books, attending some classes, or just spreading their work. So I can introduce myself in that way, that I've been a longtime activist here in the Atlanta area, been holding down through several Pan-African organizations. I've been doing this since I really started on the groundwork probably around 2015, 16. So that's when I've been doing it throughout the kind of South region from North Carolina, South Carolina, all the way to Atlanta. Atlanta's been some of my home, though. It's been my home base so far. So, yeah. For those who don't know me, Zahir Ter is what I go by. But I wanted to go ahead.
I was just going to say, Brother Unwalu Loi, I see you in the background, so hold tight. I got you covered. Thanks for joining. I got you in a minute. Go ahead, good brother.
Yeah, and so one of the first things I wanted to talk about was just my experience with this. The biggest division I've always seen, I know you've spoken about it a little bit, has been this need to take credit, right? Like you just spoke about it when you said sometimes people start talking and you're like, wait a minute, you think this is yours, right?
Right.
and it's a subtle thing that happens because what I see even a lot of times will be one thing, people start splintering off and starting their own thing. And it would be they start a beef in an organization, but it's not a real beef. It's they push it so that way they can split off and have their own thing. You know, sometimes it happens out of necessity. Some people feel like an organization isn't doing enough, so they end up doing their own thing. But what I tend to notice a lot, and I give you a story. I can't say any names, but I remember there was these several organizations in the area, man, that they all were talking about cooperatives, and they had the exact same idea for the exact same cooperative. I said, they doing that over there. They doing that over here. Why don't we come together and have we all take part in the cooperative? That's what it is. We're all going to take some kind of ownership. And both groups said, well, why would I share that with somebody else? This is our thing. And that was one of the first times I kind of realized. I was like, okay, part of what we do is I need to take full credit of this. I need to be the group out there that's pushing this forward, right? And I seen this when that happened. I saw it historically like that, right? I remember reading about it with the Panthers and organization. Part of that little beef they had was they was arguing over who was going to take over like an on-campus book club. You know what I'm saying? Like that was one of the issues. And I see this in other organizations where it's a battle over turf. I'm gonna be the one to push out all the drug dealers here with my community security program because I need to get the credit. Some of that ties into the money, what other people were talking about. Because I need to be the one to get the grant. I can't share this responsibility with you guys because now you're going to take my shine a little bit. And we have to be the ones to push it out forward. We need to be the ones that call ourselves, I've spent a lot of time like in the socialist world. So, they call it the vanguard, right? Like we need to be the ones there in the front and all this other stuff. And it reminded me of even Kwame Ture and his arguments sometimes, with Huey and should we organize with black groups or, with the intercommunalism and that kind of stuff with no disrespect over there. But one of the things I said earlier was we lack a cultural unity because I became really big on that because when I looked at, you guys were talking earlier about Democrats and Republicans, I was like, well, wait, if you look at it, I remember talking to elders because I live in Atlanta, right? And there's a big joke out here. Everybody had an uncle or grandfather or father that was in the civil rights struggle, right? So I ended up talking to people, and it's like, well, we weren't talking all the things that maybe progressive whites were talking. There was some points of us that may have overlapped and agreed with Republicans, and some agree with Democrats. But who are we onto ourselves? You know what I'm saying? It's
That's
like
right.
that cultural unity has to come first because then I see that divide even with some of these, organizations that's supposed to know better. They might want to go with these white liberals because the things that you guys were talking about earlier with the money, sometimes they see a greater power they could have, because truth be told, they may have access to more capital. They may have access to do more movies because they're linking up with the white folks. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
But
right.
how is what does it mean to be onto ourselves? That lack of cultural unity that because once that's there, we understand ourselves better. Then it's like we're on the same page a lot more in terms of moving forward. And I had to write it down because I was trying to write it down while you guys were talking.
No,
But one
you
of the
good.
things was another thing I saw was these beefs that come too. you know. And I understand what you were saying about like you don't want to work with people who, you know, like, it's like
Bad
there's no way.
character. Yeah, bad character.
Right, right. But then there was times where it's like, um, this guy, I'm the leader of this group, and this guy critiqued me on the internet. Don't work with him. You know what I'm saying? Because there were other times where I'm like, hey, why don't we come together and work on this? But I forgot to tap in with the leader of the group, because the leader said he got beef with somebody over here. So he told his minions not to work on this, and now they can't work with me because I may be cool with this person. And it's like, damn. I'm like, but we pushing unity. I'm going around in the community saying, hey, GDs, BDs, Bloods, Crips, get over your beefs, you know, settle your differences, come together. But we're not doing that. You know what I mean? And I'm a person who pushes Kwanzaa, and I'm like, that should be a time. Kwanzaa, Africa Liberation Day, Garvey Day. These are days where we're supposed to come together and for the greater cause. You know, and
That
that's one of the things I can, that Atlanta has been doing good at, you know, is we come together, UNIA, the Pan-African movements out here, we kind of come together in Africa Liberation Day and show that solidarity. You know, but those are some of the things that I saw, like, to answer the question of why I think organizations can't come together. One last thing is probably because of integration.
mm,
Because if you look at that freedom struggle, what they called it, you know, we faced more of a collective, unified problem of segregation, you know, and a racial onslaught. Now we still face it, but we have so many different currents now. We got blacks who've integrated into the system. We've been greatly diffused because of this process of us being integrated into the system. That it's a lack of clarity over what that problem exactly is to unify us around. You know, I think that's one of the big things. And so that's why I push culture now, because it's like, for those of us who do know, for those of us who are race nationalists and have these understandings, we know. But then it becomes like, how do we reach that unison with us? We got to get over some of these problems that's probably not that, you know, big of a deal.
yes. Someone said this should be an ongoing conversation. Once is not enough. Each organization should host this conversation. I agree. I definitely agree. And my good brother Kenwado Moore from Atlanta, Kenwado said, "What's up, brother Zahir?"
Oh, what's good? I'm pretty sure I seen you out there.
Yeah, that's my guy. Um, I got the baddest red, black, and green umbrella from him. He sells. But I want to thank you for that. You definitely want to hear our next brother that's coming in. And you made some definitely strong points. And like you said, sometimes it's just about seeing that we could just do something together. And for all the events, we do a pretty good job at African Liberation Day. But I'm not just, some people just come out and, they might just pass out stuff. I mean, these elders, they want you to have a table. I don't even know if they charge. Get a table, set up, be a part of the festival, invite people, and I think that, we got to do a lot. We're doing better in Baltimore, but it has to be a lot better. And, we just got to keep pushing because, like you said, um, it's a lot of ulterior motives involved, and that's not about building. You got to let all of that go for 1 minute just to see one thing we could do together. Whether it's going to someone's black-owned restaurant and saying, "Hey, we're going to support this restaurant for a month." Whether it's let's do this one event. Whether, like I said, let's try to support all the events the elders are doing. Let's try to come up with something that we can do that puts us in unison. And sometimes when you do that, you don't even have to sit at the table to do that. You don't have to get involved or like or dislike. Just say, "Hey, this is what we're doing," and it needs to be done because until then, we're not going to be on the same page, and it's always going to be division. But like as you know, we as Garveyites, we just keep pushing either way. We do what we
That's
need
right.
to do. But definitely, I appreciate you, good brother. Thank you for all your comments, man. Because I'll be going off, and then I'll be like, man, I might as well go live on this. And so I definitely appreciate your feedback. And if you ever think of something else that we could talk about, definitely hit me up, and we go live on it, and I'll bring you on.
All right, for sure. Race first.
Race first, good brother. Hey, and definitely link up with Atlanta. Definitely link up with my guys in Atlanta.
Okay.
All right, race first. That was a good brother. Now I'm gonna bring on my soldier.
Okay. All right, race first.
You there, good brother?
Good brother. Now I'm gonna bring on my soldier.
And we getting a little reverb, so try to turn something down. You might have to turn something down, but
You got me?
I got you, but I hear something in the background. Are you on a speaker?
Okay, wait a minute.
Okay.
You got me? Okay, you got me now?
We on and popping.
Okay.
Now, please introduce yourself to the people, good brother.
Okay, so I am Unwalu Loi Imani Lumumba, and I'm a long-term Pan-African nationalist soldier. I go back as far as Charlie Duggar. I know people don't necessarily see me as being that elder like that, but I am a senior elder, and I know a lot about the history of Baltimore. So I like to weigh in on some things as relate to your question, which I don't think is going to be answered. And I think that it's kind of like what has been discussed for years, and there has not been any progress. So I'm gonna lay out some things upon which I think are impediments to the unity of our people. So one of the things I want to lay out is something no one has mentioned is low emotional intelligence on the part of the leadership. There's no major draw to bring our people to the table for unity development, right? And then there's this no economic base. There's no ideological clarity, and there's no institutional base. And the middle class of America has abandoned the struggle, right? And then there's conscious people, political, cultural conscious people, and then there are people who are not conscious, who are the leaders of these organizations and people in these organizations that basically are supporting the great American way. They're not looking for African liberation. So we've got to be clear about who you're going to unite with. Who is at the table is for African liberation, and who is an impediment to African liberation. And who is for the American dream, and who's for African liberation. Okay, that has to be clear, right? Of course, there's a major level of our organizations, our frats, fraternities. They do good work, but where are they politically, right? We talk about the legacy of the Honorable Marcus Garvey. We talk about the legacy of brothers and sisters who have taught us that Pan-African nationalism is the key to African liberation. So if you aren't about the business of being about the key of African liberation, I can't organize with you. And not because I don't like you, but because it is a defeatist notion to think that someone else's agenda is opposed to yours, but they might want to unite because they can get something out of it other than what the unification is about, which is African liberation.
Oh, you on fire, brother. You on fire.
So I mean, I could fill up a notebook of the things upon which why we cannot unite. But I rather would deal with why we can and why we should, right? I don't know if people understand the whole notion of the pioneering spirit. There has to be a leadership that will prove to be of a united sense, like if the nationalist community will come together with just 2 or 3 organizations and start from there and build in the nationalist community to prove that there can be a unification and to guide our people towards African liberation and away from the American dream, right? So, if I was to ask people, what was the last major movement or major consequence in America? I bet you most people would not be able to tell me.
Educate them
So
people.
I'm not gonna put y'all on the spot. Do you know what it was?
Go ahead, educate us.
The National Black Independent Party. Do you understand that movement? Do you understand that was a national movement? Do you understand they was on the verge of breaking in an independent party in America? Do you know it was a unification of the middle class, elders, the youth, grassroots organizations, institutions like Morgan State University? It was a cross section of people, and it was a 3 to 5 year building on that effort. You know what killed it?
What killed it?
Jesse Jackson decided to run for president of the United States. And your black politicians who were working with the National Black Independent Party, because they seen the viability of it, where'd they go? Even Louis Farrakhan ran with Jesse. Louis Farrakhan and the nation was about the business of national black independence, the National Black Independent Party, right? And it was built from the ground up, not from the top down. So when Jesse decided to run, Jesse was never for African liberation. He was never for African liberation. Right. He's been an opportunist his whole life. So he broke up that major thrust that was making headway into the politics of this country and carrying along grassroots, youth, middle class, different organizations. Yeah.
Hold up,
now,
brother. Hold on, real quick. I gotta let the people know you flowing. Hit that like button. Hit that like button if you're on YouTube. You can't do it. Hit that like button. This is powerful information. Go ahead, good brother. I had to get that in.
So not only did he kill it in terms of him running, he made sure, and the powers that be, who I think was working with him, made sure that they would put a death kill in it, because he did what? He ran another 4 years. So he took up a whole decade with the people focused on him running for president and took the whole idea about the National Black Independent Party and helped bury it, brother. So, and I'm gonna end with this. Right? The oppressor, walks around in the heads of every one of us, rent-free. If you came up in America, you have been affected by the program indoctrination and the continuance indoctrination through the media, right? And people are bought into that. That's what they are moving on. They're not thinking about liberation. So when we talk about unifying, we can only talk about unifying with those groups of people or organizations who have some sort of ideological clarity. And they're moving for African liberation, not for the American dream, right? So, I don't want to dominate, you know what I mean?
No, you are good. What's my name on YouTube? Real Truth and Power. Real Truth and Power, Kenwado. Real Truth and Power. I haven't been on
let me say this too.
Yeah, go ahead. You got the floor, good brother. Go.
Let me say this. Right? The organization that I'm working with, UNIA, I'm now a member of the UNIA. Right?
That's right.
And Cliff can tell you this.
Hold on, you got to get applause for that. You a member of the UNIA. You got to get applause for that.
Now, Cliff can tell you this, right? 10, 12 years ago, I started the I started the economic organization called Women for Working, Organizing, Making a Nation. And its thrust was to look at the economic question, because the economic question has always been put on the back burner of organizations. And that's why a lot of times they just fail, because they never want to deal up front with the economics, right? And successfully, some organizations signed up. Most were national organizations, right? But for some reason, organizations had a problem putting up $10 a week to build a kind of financial base and to use it as seed money to take us into other economic or financial ventures, right? Now, you know, this organization, they quit. PLO, they quit. I mean, people that quit. The money was there to the extent that even today, woman has lent more money and supported more organization fundraisers financially than any other organization in Baltimore. I stand on that. They have all cash checks for $50, $100. If we couldn't even go to the event, we bought tickets. So I know what can be built around economics. Because if you avoid economics, nothing is going to happen. One, if there's not a children's organization within the thrust of the organization, a youth development program, it's not going to move to the other decades. Because if we're going to educate our children, we got to educate them on what we're doing now to teach them what it would take to pick it up and run with it when we're gone. So those two things right there, economics and a youth-based support.
It's funny you
About those
said
two
that.
things right there.
I'm sorry to cut you off. It's funny you said that because that's all our president general talks about. And sometimes people are looking like, why you keep pumping up this economics and how we need to keep pushing and growing, getting these grocery stores and each division starting the businesses. And he's like, economics is Marcus Garvey's main tool. It might have backfired in a lot of ways, but he was trying. And economics is important. And then you mentioned the youth. Speak to them about how you're working with the youth and the things you're doing with them.
Well, I've been working with our youth, reaching them through consciousness through the martial arts. So when we talk about teaching to reach our children, we can't all the time just go directly to the politics, right? You got to kind of like subliminally teach them. So for 40 years now, I've been in the Ys, the YMCAs. I've been in our school system, right? I've had my own dojo. I still have my own dojo. And we teach martial arts starting with saluting the liberation colors. Because a symbol is worth 10,000 words. And they start off saluting the liberation colors, and we in class saluting the liberation colors. I've had summer camps that flow with the beauty of Black nationalist, Pan-Africanist themes. It was African studies, African history, African dance, African drum, African critical thought. The children came away with this thing about Africa, right? So our summer camps was an addition to what we were doing, as well as the history, and we had foreign language, we had Kiswahili. So that is the kind of institutional building that our youth have proven to me they love it, brother. They want it. They want it. We just haven't built it. Now, you know, it still takes a major effort, and we could not secure the funding to do a summer camp the last 2 years.
Was it because of space?
Well, no, it wasn't because of space. And you know, we can talk about that. You know, I'll share it with people. I don't want to share it on the chat, right? However, when we first started, right, we went $15,000 in the hole trying to do it without grants, right? We went $15,000 in the hole, right? And we had to regroup that. Okay, so we had to utilize grants, and we don't. And I understand we can't pay for our liberation through grants. So, you know,
Say that
there
again, because that was an important statement you said.
we cannot win our liberation dependent on grants. We can't do it. We can't do it. However, unlike what other people want to say that, you know, that we should not be getting grants, I beg to differ. Because any goddamn money that come to us is coming to us through what we should have in the first place. We own some of this wealth. We just don't control it.
That's right.
We don't control it, right? So yeah, if you get grants, get a grant, right? Reparations, if you can get it, get it. I don't think we're going to get any reparations. But if that's the thing upon which people believe they hang their hat on, I say go get it. But economics, brother.
Before you go, I wanted to ask you this, and this is one of the elders, Brother John Albata from our DC division. He always educates me and gives me stern lectures sometimes. He was like, you know, we have to understand things, especially in our organization, about Marcus Garvey. He was a Pan-Africanist. But you say a word that he says a lot. Educate the people on this word: a nationalist and a revolutionary. Those two words that he said we must continue to be in our organization, and he doesn't see a lack of it in other organizations. He hears the word Pan-Africanist, but he doesn't hear nationalist and revolutionary. Talk about those things, and that were main words used back in the day.
Okay, so we were taught, our elders taught us that you define yourself by land, culture, and history. We used to talk about being black. I remember a time when we didn't talk about being Pan-African nationalist. We talked about being black. But we was corrected that black is descriptive, but it does not speak to a land, people, and a culture. So, you know, the whole education about using the term Pan-African ties us into where we are around the world. And it ties us into an historical process. And it ties us into the kind of leadership that proved to us that it can work, right? And I back off of the word revolutionary. Let me tell you why. I back off of the word revolutionary because our people are so afraid of it, and they do not see the successes that have been had on whatever levels to be able to grasp that revolution only means change. So you can only feed a baby fish with no bone. You can't, if our people are not ready for something, you have to take the people where they are. So our people understand nationalism. When you talk about nationalism, then all you got to do is talk about the same things they learned about American nationalism. You know, George Washington, the American flag, you know what I mean? The use of land. But you just talk about it in a progressive black way. Right. And our people understand that. But mention the word revolutionary, and I can talk revolutionary. You and I can talk revolution to people who are moving like that. But I back off of it because you have to understand the time and space that you're in. You got to understand that your words teach, your actions teach, you know? And you got to take the people where they are and then build them from there. I hope I answered your question.
Man, that was powerful because he definitely tells me sometimes, like, you know, he'll check me and he always say those words like, you know, don't forget this and don't forget that. And he was pushing that nationalist word a lot. And you say it a lot. And I don't hear it. I don't hear it coming from people of my age. I'm 53 and younger. I don't hear that word, and it's an important word. It's an important thing that we have to remember. It was an important part of the movement, being a nationalist. And like you said, when you say revolutionary, they look at you a certain kind of way. When you say revolutionary, your life's on the line. You know, when you do this kind of work, and like you said, we talk about it in the UNIA, but when we talk about when we go and we meet other people and we mention being a nationalist and the revolutionary, they look at us a little differently. You know, like, okay, they're a little extreme. But I guess we have to be because, like Marcus Garvey says, wear your colors so they know who you are.
Yes.
So I guess we are a little different, but I think that was a real important what you said, and definitely we got to keep that going. I got my grand son in your program, and if anybody in Baltimore is watching, it's a powerful program because a lot of our kids, for those that don't know, I have a basketball program, and a lot of people ask me how's your team doing because I used to coach for Bentlow Recreation and also Sam Cassell and
Hmm.
maybe Team Mellow a little bit, but I started my own and it was different because we didn't have the sponsorship or the hype. So I'm just getting kids off the street, trying to keep them out off the video games and out the street. I often tell people they'll probably beat us in the game, but in a fight, we gonna roll. But it's very important that we get our kids in any kind of youth program, and especially yours because you're giving them that Pan African twist. Um,
And
talk
it's
about
free.
and it's free. Yes,
It's free.
yes.
It's free. I don't put a dollar between me and a child. It's free. You can't afford a uniform for your child? I get it for you.
Yeah, that's
Because
powerful.
economically, we can afford that now. Because we did do our due diligence to a certain extent about putting monies where money is going to be needed, right? And so now, it's free. Adults can be free too. I don't, but if you can do a donation as an adult, I'll take it. But any way I can spread the message of Pan-African nationalism in a way that is actualizing an activity that people are doing, mine happens to be the martial arts, I'm going to do it.
No doubt,
I'm going to do it.
man. It's a blessing because I first heard you speaking, and again, and this is why I was so frustrated. I know we can't make all events, so I didn't want people to think that I expect everybody to be at every event because, like you say, you do. It's hard for you to make the breakfasts because you doing your thing on Saturdays. I
That's
mean, we
right.
got people right. We got people doing things, but when I see people not supporting anything, especially what you're doing, and our elders, Baba Duggan and them, I just get a little frustrated because again, I know the promotion could be better, but we all support it. And when they reach out, Baba Duggan reached out to me, but I was like, "Why are you asking? Just let me know where I need to be before you go." May 19th.
May 19th, you're on the you one of the speakers, brother.
Oh, I didn't know that, but I'm glad you
No,
told
no,
me.
no, 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 no.
But
It's gonna be question and answer.
okay,
But all organizations will be represented, and I will hope that they would talk a little about their organization, in 2 or 3 minutes, and then we going into question and answer.
but talk about that date for those that don't know. May
May
19th.
19th. May 19th is the birthday. If the Earth Day, if the birthday of Minister Malcolm's mother, and it is his Earth Day, right? Louise Little, that's her birthday. But we will celebrate Minister Malcolm because there's not been a ongoing, powerful celebration of one of the greatest warriors that have been produced through the movement.
Right.
And there is some things upon which Minister Malcolm, as we continue to learn and by his teachings, that some false teachings have been handed down to our youth, and they don't really understand him based maybe except if they have seen the movie, which was full with inadequacies, and the position that the Nation of Islam takes, which is a adversarial position. But for the nationalist movement and for Pan-African nationalism, the Minister Malcolm should be well taught so that when youth come to understand who this brother is, that there be no mistake. And that is only going to happen if someone institutionalizes his Earth Day the way Brother Duggar has institutionalized Marcus Garvey Day.
That's right.
So it's May 19th. It's a free event. It's going to be seriously political. It's not going to be a lot of dancing. It's going to be drumming, but we are there because we are going to be political with this, which I think a lot of people shy away from, and I think they need a lot more of. They don't understand Pan-African nationalism, man. So we have to do programs and stuff to reach the people and let them know what it is. And
Yes.
through this celebration is one means of that. It's also a coming together. I'm calling for operational unity for that the other national organizations can come and be a part of it because some of their leaders is going to be on the panel. So I'm not just doing it for my organization.
Right.
I am for operational unity. I've been calling for it. I've been trying to organize it, right? But I came at it through an economic means. And I think that was the correct way to come because we so long have put economics on the back burner of our agenda. And we have failed and we will continue to fail. If we can't finance our own movement, we will continue to fail. It's simple as that.
Man, you was on fire tonight. I'm definitely going to be there. You know, whatever you need, I got you. And again, for all the people, especially in Baltimore, DC, if you close and you want to come through, we got an event. Come support, show your face, bring your organization, be a part of the build because it's important, and man, I just appreciate you so much in the work you're doing. And you know what I said, go at my grandson tomorrow, work the hell out of him.
Yeah, man. Hey, I want to keep that boy with me, man.
That's my
That boy's
guy.
talented.
Yes, that's my guy. Sometimes you need other people to reach out to him. And when I text him one day because trying to find something that I could get him in or that he'd be interested in, and usually he'd get back to me 2 days or later. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna try it." I like, okay. And so when his dad took him down there, he came back was like, "Man, I love it." He was so excited. And brother Frank said, "Race first." Brother Frank was talking. They did a presentation. I wasn't there. I had to step away with the committee, but the council. But they was mentioning your martial arts program and how you talk to the kids. If the kids don't say thank you, you like, I ain't working you hard enough and things of that nature. So I definitely appreciate the work you were doing. And by the way, before I let you go, one of our queens in the UNIA, Sister Basima, well known in Philly, she mentioned something. She said she operated an independent Pan-African institution serving over 80 kids without any grants. So sometimes I think the grants are really separating us too because we're fighting over money and not trying to organize because of it. But that's another day for another time. But I appreciate you, brother Mwalimu, and hit me if you need me, and I got your back.
Asante Sana.
Face first.
Face first.
All right, family. That was powerful today. It was powerful. I'm not closing out quite yet. I'm gonna try to go over all the chats and hopefully I ain't miss anything. If you want to join on, put it in the chat now. If you want to join in, put it in the chat now, and we will I get you on before I close. I just ain't trying to, you guys have had me out all day. And it's an interesting conversation because it was funny, the politicians jumped on first. When the politicians jumped on, it was an interesting conversation because they were talking from, a different standpoint. And when the Pan-Africans and everybody jumped on, they were speaking from another point. And so that was really, really interesting. And sometimes I know we don't want to hear some of the things that people say, but it was interesting because both of them, whether you agree with their politics or not, mention economics. And again, when you start coming to the table, that's something we could talk about. Assurant, I hope I said your name right. We have the money. We have to educate the ones with it to stop hoarding it to themselves. The D9 pulled together a couple million for Kamala. These millionaire athletes have it. That is true. That is definitely true. I appreciate that comment. You're right. The money is out there. Again, Sister Basima, thank you for the comments today. Mama Basima, good teaching. I appreciate you because, it's important that we teach as well as comment. Thank you for that. I think she was agreeing with Brother Mwalimu on that. That's right. my secretary and business liaison. If you're in the Baltimore area and you want to do business, you got to go through Brother Frank. Don't call me. Get too many calls. Brother Frank is a guy you need to talk to. And I want to wish him and his lovely queen a happy anniversary. He couldn't make the show today, so he probably is doing a little peek. So hopefully I'm not getting you in trouble, Brother Frank. But to you and your family, one love and happy anniversary to you. See if I missed anybody. And again, before we close out, the time is now. And if you want to jump on, I answer that, Brother Kenwaldo. I'm on YouTube, Real Truth and Power, on YouTube. But I have been doing more social media. I have been like streaming in like a long time, so I got to build that back up. But for those that are watching, we on a new platform, the UNIA platform. So I need y'all to support it as well. UNIA Rock Media. UNIA Rock Media. Of course, everything we do, we're on YouTube, but we always want to control our own platform. So we're working on it. We're going to build it up. UNIA Rock Media. UNIA Rock Media. Thank you for that. Let me see if I got anything else. Baba Khalil said, the FOI provided security for Jesse Jackson. That's probably the only security he could trust. You know, people had comments about Jesse, but they were still out to get him too. But yeah, that's probably all he could trust. Brother Conwardo was talking about messy Jesse. Yeah, Jesse was a wild brother. Trying to go through facts. And again, thank you all guys. Let me know what you want the next conversation to be as well. Trying to come up with something that's different than I've been doing, because I want to, like you said, I want to spread more information. Sometimes the last time we have conversations where we be interviewing people. So I still want to do that. If you have a business, especially where people can buy products and things of that nature, and you want to, or it doesn't matter, if you have a black-owned business, I can definitely would love to interview you, and we can share it across social media and all the platforms. Lady President says, save the date and come out. 40th annual motherhood. Again, this is the 40th annual motherhood, womanhood, Saturday, May 9th, 1 to 6 p.m. at Cary and Cumberland. I want everybody to know there's a wall. It's a mural, and my homeboy did that mural. Ernest Shaw, shout out to you, Ernest. Big brother E. We also coach football together. Shout out to the Woodlawn Falcons. I think they're a secret society now, but shout out to them. All righty, closing out. Kenwado. All right, brother Zahir, try to give brother Kenwado a call. I didn't want to put your number up here. I didn't look at it, brother Kenwado, but hopefully you can look at the chat and give my brother a call. We closing out. Just want to go through all your chats. Mr. Duggar also initiated the first Baltimore African Liberation Day. So you're hearing a lot of this brother's name. For those that are in the UNIA watching on UNIA Rock Media, I'm definitely going to introduce you to the brother in convention. This is a powerful elder. He hosts the Marcus Garvey Festival. And when we were a young division, we decided to reach out to him and see how we could assist with the festival. And he was like, man, just come in with me and help build it. And so that's some of the things that we're doing. We're trying to, build the festival and keep building it. It's been going on for many years. And I talked to him, the name that a lot of people know is Baba Tunji. A lot of the things that we did when we came into our UNI division is we wanted to get, I don't want to say permission, but we wanted to get the respect of the ones that were before us. Baba Tunji was holding down the UNIA for a long, long time. And we invited him to our meetings, and I guess the word is blessings. And we did a event at the Why Not Lot, and he got up there and spoke and said, man, these brothers and sisters have a blessing. And so that means good. You always want to move and respect the elders that were before you. And so I'll definitely introduce you to Charlie Duggar. He's a powerful brother. Do your own thing era from the 70s is an offspring of integration. That's powerful. That is powerful. I think Brother Zahir had mentioned integration. And or was that no, I think that was one of the politicians, Brother Donald, had mentioned integration, I believe. Brother Tashaka, race first. This is a soldier, the general, street soldiers. What's up? Again, we don't work with a lot of organizations, but if you keep it 100 and you're true to yourself and you're more than anything, a real person with character and pride, we work with you. And I love this brother and this organization. My lady president does speaking engagements with them. I'm so busy. I gotta get out there when I can. I think I went to DC one time, but you know, Brother Tashaka, if I'm free, I'm always there for you, my brother, and I appreciate your support. And I got to get you on the next one. I got to get on yours as well. I just be so daggone busy. I'm struggling to do this one, but I appreciate you. I think we almost finished. I think I got this one. Brother Kawaldo was saying, what's up? Let me see. I always want to read the chats because I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And the chat is one of the best ways to be a part of the show if you can't tune in. We caught up in the 70s. Do your own thing. I think I might have got that one. Brother Conwaldo commenting again with that red, black, and green. I appreciate you, good brother. I think I talked about Baba Khalil saying this conversation should be done by every organization. I agree with you. Okay, I think we almost done. We was talking about, again, Baba Duggar and the work that he's doing during the Kwanzaa events since 1967. Powerful brother. Let me see. And I think we're almost done. I think I got all of them. And again, family, thank you. Going once, going twice for calling in. I appreciate you as always. Again, I still got to tighten up on some things. We did go to UNI Rock Media, and I might have been a little late on that, but Brother Prezi got me going on that, so I appreciate you because we want to keep things always flowing on UNI Rock Media. It's real important, you know, that we start creating the platforms for our own. That's the only way Marcus Garvey would have us, you know. If it's YouTube, it should be a black YouTube. It should be a black media. So we're working on that. So please tune in. Try to look at some of the older shows if they're available. And definitely we want to promote that platform and keep building it because there's nothing like owning it for ourselves. And this was Brother Keith Scott earlier, working together for what I think he came on and explained this stuff on that. So I think I'm out, family. I always want to end you guys with love, peace. Of course, race first. One God, one aim, one destiny. As you can see, there we go. Somewhere in the back. There we go. Marcus Garvey. Long live Marcus Garvey. Long live the UNIA. And I'm going to try to be more consistent, I promise. Try to figure out a topic that we can talk about. And again, if you guys know what you want to talk about, let us know. I just want some good talk so we can learn and build off each other. And if you're an entrepreneur, like I said, we can get you on an interview as well. I try to stick with Fridays, but I know Fridays are hard. But every day I'm busy, so we'll try to be more consistent. And I love you all. Thank you for all the people that's tuning in. I see a few people on Facebook tonight. Couple, not as much as it used to be on YouTube, but we'll build that back up. And hopefully a lot of people are tuning in to UNI Rock Media. And I checked to see if we went to Twitter. Something seemed like was going on there, and Instagram. So we're trying to hit all the platforms, so it might hurt our views a little, but it's all about getting the information out. And I respect you all. All right, remember, Real Truth and Power, where we teach health, wealth, and knowledge itself. Early night to night, thank goodness, and I'll be talking to you guys soon. Race first all the time, race first.
Real truth and power, health, wealth, knowledge of self, uplifting the community. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Real truth and power. Health. Wealth. Knowledge of self. Uplifting the community. Let's talk about